This is Xbox 360e, released in 2013, and this is the last Xbox from 360 series. Hey, what's up everyone, I'm Andrew, and in this video we're gonna restore and back in function this Xbox 360e. Well, I brought this Xbox in a verge to bad condition, but still working. From the outside is full of scratches, and over the case there is some oil. It smells good, and I think this is some hair product. But it's nothing serious, and I think this is from the outside only. From the bottom side, the hard disk cover is missing, and the other issues are: the CD-ROM, it is not working entirely, even it is not spinning the CDs, and the Wi-Fi is not working. While testing, the temperatures become very high, but basically anything other is working well. The controllers are a little bit nasty, but still working well. Also, one of the controllers has a keyboard with backlight. And the power adapter is good also. Well, let's start. Back in function this Xbox and make it something different. So first, I will start with a full teardown. Disassembling or tear down this Xbox model is very easy. This requires a few tools, like Torx screwdrivers, size from 6 to 10, one standard Phillips screwdriver, and one flathead screwdriver. And the other tools are spudger sticks and tweezers. Also, if you're going to make something like this, be careful with the case. Do not pull or press too heavy, because the case is easy to damage. Well, now let's slow down at the part with the front case. To remove the front case, first I need to open the CD-ROM. To open the CD-ROM, I will use a large paper clip. But here it can be used something other, just not something too sharp, like a needle. Now, to open the CD-ROM, I will insert the paper clip in the hole from the side of the CD-ROM, which is marked with a yellow circle, and I will push down. Okay, now I will pull the CD-ROM tray up, and I will remove the front side and disconnect the flex cable. Well, now let's continue with removing the other components. Well, now when I'm on the part with the heatsink, I must say something. To remove the heatsink, I mean the heatsink holder, I will use flathead screwdriver. So here I will put the flathead screwdriver between the heatsink and the holder, and I will turn a bit harder to release the clamps from the holder or unclamp the metal holder. This is the hardest thing on this Xbox, and if you're going to make something like this, then you should be very careful to not damage the motherboard. And the last thing, from the case I will remove the power button and the electronics. Well, the teardown is complete, and now let's move to the cleaning process. First, I will start with cleaning the motherboard from dust, the old thermal paste, and some small rust around the components. Also, to clean the motherboard and the other electronics, I will use a brush, cotton buds, and 96% isopropyl alcohol. Well, after finish with the motherboard, let's move to the cleaning, the cooling fan and the other electronics. Well, the other parts that are without electronics, I wash it using soap and hot water. I have done this because this is the only way to in-deep clean the case, remove the oil and the sticky dirt. And after the cleaning process, this is how the Xbox parts and the case are looking. Basically, all is much better. Almost like a brand new, but I'm not finished yet. Later, I will do some modifications that will turn things to better. Well, now let's move to the controllers. So here, I will also cross over a full teardown process. These Xbox controllers are easy to open. There are 7 Torx size 8 screws from the bottom side. 6 are visible, but the last one is hidden under the sticker where the batteries are. From the inside of the controller, there are 2 Phillips type screws placed on the direction pad. And actually that's are all the screws in the gamepad. Well, these are all the parts. And now let's move to the cleaning process again. To clean the controller electronics, I will use a brush, as always, cotton buds and 96% isopropyl alcohol. The alcohol I will use to remove the sticky dirt from the controller's board that is collected through the ears. After finish with the controller electronics, let's move to the one more washing process. And again, this is the only way to remove the sticky oil from the controller and make it shines again. After the controller case and all the buttons gets fully dry, Now I cross over one more process of cleaning and polishing the parts. And this is the final result. Well, now let's move to the next process. Because the case is full of scratches, I'm going to to paint the case, but also I'm going to paint one of the controllers. So here, first I will use sandpaper to remove the damages on the case, which are mostly at the back side of the case. After I make the case edges smoother, I will start with taping the case using paper tape. I have done this because I'm going to paint the case in two different colors. So first I must protect each side. And the last thing is the front plastic from the CD-ROM. On the CD-ROM we have Xbox logo and small and thin letters. The logo and the letters are so thin that simply I cannot stick any tape over them and protect it. But I can remove the letters and the logo. To remove these thin and tiny letters, I will use a very sharp scalpel. Actually, this is the only way to protect the letters and the logo from painting. And now the case is ready for painting. To paint the case and the gamepad, I will use two different and very specific colors. For the case, I will use a shade from Lagoon Blue and Matte Black spray. And for the controller, I will use a shade from a Signal Yellow. Well, first I start with the Lagoon Blue. With this spray, I paint the case, the top and the bottom part. Also, I paint both sides and the Xbox logo. Now let's remove the paper tape and see the result. Well, and this is the Xbox case. Also want to say, this Lagoon Blue color shade is looking much better in reality. Well, after I finish with the Lagoon Blue, I move on the taping process again. So now I need to protect the painted part and the logo. When everything is ready, I move to the Black Matte spray. With the Black Matte spray, I paint the rest of the case. But also with the black spray, I apply 4 coats. It is a little bit thicker paint, but I need because to cover all the scratches over the case. And after I finish with the Xbox case, now using a Signal Yellow matte spray, I paint the controller. Well, now let's remove the paper tape and continue to the final steps about the case. The final step here is sticking the Xbox logo and the letters back to the front cover of the CD-ROM. The logo and the letters I stick it using transparent paper glue. This is a slow process, but in the end, all it will look much better. Meanwhile, I was in search for some parts for this Xbox 360. I brought the missing hard disk cover. Actually here I need to get the both side parts from the case. The other part that I brought is a new CD-ROM. Actually this is used CD-ROM but in working condition. The old one, it is not working totally. I've tried to repair, but the electronics from the inside are burned. And unfortunately, that cannot be repaired. And the last part is the Wi-Fi. This is a newer Wi-Fi, but it will work with no problems. Also, I paint the hard disk cover because to fit the case color. Well, now everything is ready and let's assemble the Xbox. So first I will start with the motherboard and applying the thermal paste over the chip. As a thermal paste I will use a high performance thermal paste, Arctic MX4, and this thermal paste is great for game consoles and almost any computers. Well, after I finish with the thermal paste, now let's fully assemble the Xbox. Well, and the Xbox is finished. Now I move to assembling the both controllers, which is very easy and simple process. Well, and this is the final look. Also, I left one controller unpainted because I want to show you the difference. And if you have some damaged and scratched controller, then you can do some mod and you will have a something good again. And on the controllers, I will use a rechargeable batteries. These batteries are about a decade old, but still good. Also, the restoration won't be restoration if something is not reusable. After I finish with assembling the controllers, I start with making the stand for the both controllers. To make the stand, I used old wood that I already have in my garage. I used sandpaper to make it smoother and to look better. To connect all parts, I used a strong glue. And this is not a classic wood glue, but is great for anything. After I stick all parts together, and after the glue gets dry, over the stand I apply wood stain to protect the wood. And after the wood stain gets dry, from the bottom side I stick 4 anti-sliding furniture fill pads. But also I use the same fill pads under the controllers to avoid sliding and to make them more stable. And after all changes, this is the final result. Well, now let's move to the Xbox and testing some games. First, I start with the basic testing. I want to check is everything working well or not. And everything is working well. The CD-ROM is working, the Wi-Fi is working well, and the temperatures are fine. The Xbox now is pretty quiet and everything other is working well. Also, I connect this Xbox to my 34-inch ultra-wide monitor because I want to see and show to you how this Xbox is reacting to 21:9 aspect ratio.
Just a lesson that I've learned, and so it goes. Tables turn, and you're on your own.
Well, and this is all about this Xbox 360e. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope this video will give ideas and inspiration to back some tech in function again. Also, if you want to support me to grow this channel, you can press the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.